Welcome, bienvenue, willkommen, bienvenidas, bienvenidos, Huang Ying to 5 Minute Sunday School. Today's passages are from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 10, and are all about welcome, in case you didn't gather from the start. Jesus says to his disciples, "Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me. And anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me, that is God." Isn't that amazing? That we can welcome other people and actually welcome Jesus and God as well. Isn't it amazing that when people welcome us, they are also welcoming God who lives within us? Today I want us to imagine how great it will be when we can welcome people back into our homes again at the end of the lockdown. Imagine a big celebration and how you're going to welcome people. Perhaps you might like to design a banner, welcome, in different languages and put it on your front door. Maybe you might do some baking. We've done a lot of that in lockdown. This was our cakes this week. They're half chocolate and half vanilla. The good bit about that was you made 2 lots of mix, so you had twice as many cakes. Can't go wrong. And the story today is one of my grandson's favourites. It's Judith Kerr's The Tiger Who Came to Tea. The other day I got a little film on WhatsApp of Edmund. He picked up the book and said, "One day a tiger at tea, excuse me, drank all Daddy's beer, went to a cafe. End of story." And that's no exaggeration. The beginning of the story is when the doorbell rings. Do you remember? And Sophie goes to the door. Sophie opened the door and there was a big, furry, stripy tiger. The tiger said, "Excuse me, but I'm very hungry. Do you think I could have tea with you?" Sophie's mummy said, "Of course, come in." So the tiger came into the kitchen and sat down at the table. I really love the writings of Judith Kerr. She also wrote the Mog books. You'll have seen those. And for any older children, she wrote some books about her really difficult experience as a young child when she and her family had to escape from Berlin before the Second World War. Try and get the book When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit, and there are 2 afterwards following on telling the story. If you are older and can get on the internet, find out about Judith Kerr. She lived a long life and did some very interesting things. When they came to the UK, she could speak French and German, but not English. Can you imagine how difficult that would have been? What strikes me about this particular story about the tiger who came to tea is that Mummy and Sophie are unfailingly polite to the tiger, aren't they? They are loving and kind, despite the fact that the tiger is a total pain. He eats them out of house and home. He messes everything up. He drinks even the water out of the tap and Daddy's beer. Oops. Sophie and Mummy keep being polite and kind to him. I wonder if that came from the experience of such difficult times in Judith Kerr's life. She learnt to live with her experience by being kind and loving to everyone she met. What really impressed me was when Daddy came home, there wasn't a tantrum. He didn't go, "Hang on a minute, where's my supper?" They all had the idea to go and have sausages and chips at a cafe. Yay! It reminds me of another Bible story where the prodigal son asks his father for his share of the inheritance. That was a very bad thing to do because they had to sell some of the family land to provide him the money. And the father, with a heavy heart, sells the land, gives his young son the money, and off he goes and has a high old time, just like the tiger, eating and drinking everything, having lots of friends as long as the money lasts. And when it finally went, he ended up looking after pigs, wishing he could eat the husks that they fed on. Finally, he comes to himself and thinks, this is no good. Even the servants are treated better than this at my father's house. I want you to imagine him walking home, practicing what he's going to say all the way. I'm so sorry, Father. I was such an idiot. I'll be your servant now. I'm just so hungry now and so desperate. I'm so sorry, Father. But the father has been so longing for him that he's been keeping a watch out for so long. He spots him way off in the distance and runs to meet him, wraps his arms around him and lavishes this bad son with love and care. The bad son received the love, and he was so glad to be back with his father. Can we remember how much God loves us no matter what? And when we welcome people back into our house, remember that we're welcoming Jesus and God in other people, and that God himself dwells with us when we go back to visit people. Our church often speaks of welcome too, doesn't it? At baptism we say, we welcome you. So please put up some pictures of your banners or some pictures of your baking this week and remind yourself how much God loves you and lives in you until we get to meet again in person.